What's up, everybody? So it's cold as crap in my garage right now, and I have not felt like working on this thing at all. So it's like 22 degrees or something like that outside, so it's probably like 30 in my garage, which isn't too bad. Well, it's probably like 35 or 40. It's not that cold. But if I open the garage door, all that heat's gone. I don't really know what I want to do. Choices are hood latch pins. Hood pins, yeah. That's what they'd be called, not hood latch pins. Or like a roof scoop. I'm not sure which one I want to do. I don't actually want to do either because I don't feel like doing anything. But I need to do something on the car because I'm to that point where I got to do something every day or I won't make it to that rally. And I already paid, so I got to make it to the rally. So I think I'll go grab the roof scoop. And that's what I'll do. All right, so here's the actual vent portion. So this is all I'm actually going to be mounting. Obviously, I'm not going to be mounting the actual scoop because that's going to have to be painted and actually put on once I paint the car and paint the scoop. I'm not actually going to be mounting this either, so all I really have to do is cut the hole for it. I don't want to mount it until I paint the car, but I want to at least get the hole cut before I paint the car. So I have to get this in before I can start on bodywork. It shouldn't be too hard. The biggest thing is going to be just making sure that it's perfectly centered and it's where I want it to be. But this vent is definitely a lot smaller than the roof scoop, so it should be able to tuck in there plenty well. So as long as I get it centered and I grab the roof scoop and I make sure that it's in a decent spot to where that looks like it's in a good spot, like kind of aesthetically, then it should be pretty easy to weld in. Or not weld in it in. It's going to get adhesive and probably rivets or bolts or something. I don't know. I haven't decided yet what I'm going to use. Probably rib nuts or something like that. So yeah, I'm going to grab the other portion of the roof scoop since I forgot that too. And then we can start measuring and then cut up this roof that I just literally patched. So here's the scoop. It's pretty big. I got it from Primitive Rally. They make a kit for it. It's just a well-made roof scoop. You honestly don't even need this if you just want to rent a vent. There's a lot of people that do that. It's definitely a lot cheaper. I just really like the look of roof scoops on like old Subarus. So that's why I wanted to run it. It's kind of like more of an aesthetic thing. But having a roof scoop definitely helps, like at least the vent. So it will help like keep dust out of there and you're going to get some airflow without having to have your windows cracked. And you're only allowed to have your windows cracked like 1 inch on stage rallies. So you're not going to get much airflow in. So that's what's nice about having that, getting a lot of air actually to blow on the co-driver and the driver. So I'm going to look at some pictures of kind of like the old rally cars and see where they actually put it. But that's where it like kind of lines up with the contour of the roof. If I kind of like put it all the way near the edge. Obviously I could shape it, it's just fiberglass, so I can sand it and I could change the contour and put it wherever I want. So that's not a big deal. So I'm going to just compare pictures real quick because it is an aesthetic thing, like I said. So I'd like it to actually look kind of like not a 22B, but like Colin McRae's rally car type of thing. Obviously it won't, other than the fact that it's the same GC style body style, like the front end and whatnot, and it doesn't have the huge over fenders that are like really high cut. I'd be awesome to actually throw a kit on one day, but not this car. It would have to be like a street car only, because that would be pretty depressing to do all that body work and mold on like those WRC style fenders onto another GC and then you wreck it right away. It's just not worth it. And those kits are crazy expensive, so that'll never happen for this car. Well, looked it up. It definitely looks like that's where it goes, so that would make sense why they actually contoured it to fit like that. So now I'm just going to center it, figure out exactly where that vent needs to go, which, like I said, this has a pretty big opening, so the vent can pretty much go anywhere in there, but I would like to center it. That way you're looking in there and it's not like favoring one side or sideways or something like that. So make sure and measure a decent amount before I actually start hacking the roof off, and then start hacking what I just patched.
The thing is, Bob, it's not crazy. It's that I just don't care.
All right, I got it all measured out. Should be square as long as I didn't mess up the measurements, you know. I double checked a few times, so we're good. But I just need to cut about like an inch in from my line. It doesn't really matter. So if you look at how this vent works, well, I guess it's like half an inch in from my line. So the line follows the outside edge. So only on the sides does it actually need to like be within half an inch. On this portion, I'll be good staying an inch away. That way there's plenty of meat. But if I open it up a little bit extra, that'll give me room to kind of move it around if I didn't get it perfectly centered. But as long as I leave enough material there, I won't have any issue mounting this and getting it to seal perfectly without having to worry about it leaking. Because that's like the biggest concern. I don't want a bunch of water coming in from this thing. So I guess I'll cut it out now. Pretty sketchy. Probably just use an angle grinder and then radius it with the flap disc to try to get smoother edges. But like I said, it's not too big of a deal that I cut it perfectly close to that line because I got plenty of leeway, and I'll leave extra material because I can always cut more. Don't forget, safety first. I think the goggles go really well with the mask. Just my personal opinion. I don't know, let me know. So it fits in there pretty good right now. It's pretty close. I have just a tiny bit of adjustability, so I didn't mess the hole up too much. There's definitely plenty of material for me to mount it. So that's good. I'm just gonna clean up the sharp edges now. Not sharp. That's what you do in your pants. Yeah, clean up the sharp edges real quick. And this is pretty much done. So this is as far as I can go. Obviously I got to do body work over that. That's going to be a pain to try to contour it with the hole, but it shouldn't be too big of a deal because I can just kind of block over it type of thing. I think I need to open my garage door. It's got a little smoky in here. But yeah, once I clean those up, I think I'll just move on to pin stands, and I got to pull my hood out to do that. That's gonna suck. Not pin stands, but whatever they're called. The hood pins. That's what they are. Well, I think it looks pretty cool on there, but obviously that's my personal preference. Is I like roof scoops on rally cars where they actually serve a purpose, and it's not just like Need for Speed Underground 2 and you're ricing out your car, you know. Anyway, time to dig out the hood, get it mounted back on here. That way we can try to get these hood pins mounted up and cut out. Those will be a little bit trickier to cut out properly on the first try, but obviously you have to cut it out properly on the first try. It just takes a little bit more precision type of thing. All right, hood is on. Well, 2 bolts are holding it. So it's at least in the spot that it will go in one day when it actually goes on for where it's supposed to. You know? And here's my hood pins. So I went with the arrow catch. They're definitely more expensive than like the Sparco ones are just as typical where it's got like the pin sticking up and you throw the like cotter pin in. But the biggest reason why I went with these, seeing people like Racer Dave on YouTube, he's a pretty good, he's a really good rally driver, but he's got a YouTube channel too. You guys should check him out if you don't already. He actually won Rally America, the championship overall in an open light car, which is pretty badass. But anyway, he had a personal experience of him running those types of hood pins. And because he ran those, he forgot to put the pins in, whatever, that can happen. I definitely could see that happening. But his hood ended up flying up. So with these, it's harder to do that because of the fact that like they're gonna sit up like that. until you actually latch them fully. So you actually be able to see that. So it's going to give you a little bit more of a sign. Whereas noticing that the pins aren't in would be a little bit harder to see. And I think these look really cool. So that's kind of nice too. They're definitely more money though. So I think these are like 58 bucks compared to like you can get hood pins or even make them for probably like 20 bucks. So definitely a little bit more expensive, but I think it's worth it in the long run of things. So we're going to start mounting them. I've never mounted these before, so it's going to be a learning process for me. All right, I'm just going to briefly talk a little bit about how I got my measurements, just in case anybody is actually interested in that. If you're watching and you'd like to know, in case you want to do this on your own car and you don't have to watch another YouTube video. So I just took this, roughly placed it exactly where I wanted to on here, like how it looks aesthetically type of thing. And from there, I just looked at the little slot that it has for the actual pin portion, and I measured from there all the way out to the side of the hood, and I got 17 inches right at the center. So I went and made a mark on this side, 17 inches from the edge of the hood, so it's like pretty much parallel with the side of the car before it actually starts to follow the headlight, like it starts covering from the headlight. So I went from the very tip of that, did another mark for 17 over here, and then I got from the front of the hood, the very edge of the front of the hood, to the core support, exactly how far it was. So the measurement that I got was 3 3/8, I believe. Once I got the width of the core support, I took half of the width and I went up from my line that much of a distance. So it was like 3/4 of an inch that I went up, made my dot in line with the 17-inch mark, and then that's where I drilled. And I just went all the way through both layers of the hood as well as the core support, and that's currently where we're at now. So now I'm just going to get this even, exactly where I want it, with this piece on there, and that way I can trace the outline of it, and then it'll be pretty easy to just cut this out, and it should theoretically work pretty easily from there. So yeah, these things are pretty easy to mount. Just the biggest thing is measuring and making sure that they're not going to end up like all wonky and weird looking, which my core support is bent. So yes, they're even on the hood. No, they're not even on the core support. So if you actually look at where they go, they're not symmetrical on that. But I think it's because my core support's all sorts of jacked up. But everything else makes sense from the distance from here up to where they actually line up. So that's good. So yeah, I'm just going to keep pushing and get this done real quick. Well, it's as far as I can go on these tonight, so I'm going to have to go get some more Dremel cutoff wheels. Mine broke, and I don't really want to keep using an angle grinder because I'll end up hacking up the back side of the hood way too much, so I don't want to bother doing that. But it sits fine up here, everything's good, all the holes are drilled. I just need to trim the second layer of the hood. There's 3 layers of the hood. I'll see if there's anything else that I can take care of tonight. I don't know. It's already 9. I might just go to sleep. Wake up early tomorrow and go to the store. I went and bought a whole bunch of these cutoff wheels. They are ridiculously expensive when you buy them in the store and not online. Definitely not worth it because they do not last very long at all. So should make it easy though, getting these cut out cleanly, a little bit nicer than we cut this one out. So yeah, got to do the same exact thing. Mark this side. Well, I'll finish up this side first and then move on to that side. Well, my battery died in my microphone. I seem to have a lot of issues with this microphone. Mostly user-induced error, like not turning it on or letting the battery die and not realizing that. So it's kind of annoying. So the LED faces away from me, which is why that happens all the time, because I like hardly ever look at it unless I'm like adjusting it on the tripod type of thing. So that's kind of a pain. Apologize for that. So there's a lot of me rambling. This video is already pretty long anyway, so I'm just going to end it here. So I appreciate you guys watching once again. This isn't the same day that I actually filmed the video. This is the day that I'm editing it. If it looks different, if I have a different haircut or something like that. But yeah, I'm actually going to be painting the interior of the car today. So that's how far ahead I am. You guys will see that in a couple days. But I'm going to shut up. Appreciate it again for watching the videos, and I'm going to get back to work on this car.